shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Before and after. So the first story is from Kings. Elijah has gone into this country. When Elijah arrives in the country, he meets this very same widow. And when he met the widow, she was picking up sticks, and Elijah says, "Would you please make me a cake of bread?" And she goes, "Actually, I don't have any. I've got just a little bit of meal and a little bit of oil, and I'm going to make them, and my son and I are going to eat them and die." And Elijah says, "Invite me to your house, and God will take care of you." So Elijah has been living with the widow and her son through the famine. And God provided, and God provided, and God provided. And then they come to this day. And I would wonder who would be more incredulous at this moment. Would it be the woman who thought she was going to die before but lived, and now here her son has died? Or Elijah, whom God has sent to this place, and this woman and this family, and Elijah going, "God, what you thinking?" In the second death story, Jesus has just preached his big sermon. He's come in, he's healed the centurion's slave, and now he is headed into the city. And as he is headed into the city, out of the city comes the funeral procession. And Jesus sees the pain, and Jesus interrupts the pain and the death. Now, for both of those women, the death that they think that they are in the middle of isn't just about their child. Yes, they have lost their beloved son, but women, either of those eras of those stories, women had no standing without a man in their life. It says both women are widows. And it says both of them have lost their only son, which means this isn't just about the death of their child. This is about their death as well. Because they are no longer without that child. They are no longer part of the culture or the society. With the death of their only son, their choices now are to starve, or to beg, or to sell themselves. So, as the sons come back among the living, it's not just the son who is restored, it is the mother as well, and the family. And then, of course, in the middle of that, we have St. Paul's story. St. Paul, who has been the persecutor, the pursuer, violently hunting down Christians, followers of the way, who becomes a follower of the way. The one who was violent becomes a preacher of life and good news and grace. Paul, who is on his own trajectory, gets interrupted and redirected and used in the way God desires to use his gifts and his skills, his abilities. We have this God of before and after. We have this God who sees who we are and where we are and interrupts. We have this God that's about restoration of all creation, bringing from the dead, healing, restoring community and relationship, before and after. This week, I was privileged to hear about a story that had appeared in Christianity Today. The author is a woman by the name of Nicole Cliff. And the title of the article is "How God Messed Up My Happy Atheistic Life." She definitely has a before and an after story. Now, she talks about in the article that she really didn't have any untapped, unanswered yearnings, and she says all was well in the state of Denmark until it wasn't. She had spent high school years, college years, young adult years being her atheist self. She said she was a little snarky and sometimes she was defensive, but she kind of thought Christians were kind of sweet in their deluded sentiments. But two things happened to Nicole. The first was when she was going through a really hard point in her life. She was struggling, she was alone in the room, and alone in that room, she cried out, "Please help me." And as soon as the words had left her mouth, she was embarrassed. Why had she done that? And she kind of swept it away and put it away and ignored it. And shortly after that, she read an article that had been written, an interview with Dallas Willard, who was a Christian author. And Dallas Willard was asked if he believed in total depravity. And he goes, "No, I believe in sufficient depravity." And the interviewer asked, "Well, what does that mean?" And Dallas Willard says, "I don't think anybody's going to get to heaven and say, 'I earned this.'" When Nicole read that, she was reduced to tears. And that night when she went to bed, she found herself in tears. And the next morning when she was brushing her teeth, she found herself in tears. And she took a shower and found herself in tears. And walking the dog, and she found herself in tears. And fixing the kids' breakfast, she found herself in tears. And what she realized is things had shifted. She realized that until that moment in time, she never really took seriously what Jesus said about himself. And all of a sudden, it had become completely clear to her that what Jesus had said was really true. And furthermore, it had always been true, and somewhere inside of her, she had always known that. It wasn't that Jesus had just shown up on the scene, but all of a sudden, she had shifted and her lens had shifted and she could see what she had never seen before. Her after was very, very clear. Maybe one of the most incredible ways we can put this image into our head is with a trapeze artist. On this day, in just a few minutes, we are going to grab our high school seniors and we are going to celebrate that the before and the after of their lives is going to shift dramatically. It's going to shift dramatically. And like the trapeze artist, for them to move on to the after, they're going to have to let go of that bar. They're going to have to let go of the high school bar to catch whatever the next bar is. And while that's really easy to see in terms of high school and how that moves, the same is true for all of us. So today, as you look at the bar, and as you think about your own journey, I want you to wrestle with 3 questions. First of all, right now where you are on your journey, what is Jesus trying to interrupt in your life? And as you're going along your journey, second question, what does God want to restore? Either in you or through you or around you. What does God want to restore? And the third question, high schoolers and all of us to think about. What, for that interruption and that restoration, what do we need to let go of?
Well,